here we go again. And before we even get underway, we've got it. Yes, we've got it. It cost us millions to secure the rights, but we've done it for you. We've got George Graham banging his head on the dugout in the quarter-final of the Cup Winners' Cup. Roll that videotape.
Please, how many players do we want by?
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. Although, to be honest, I thought this one had. When we closed the book on own goals and Gaffs Volume 1, I really thought that is the most comprehensive study of fumblers, fraudsters, fiascos and faux pas you can milk out of any one sport. But over the last 18 months, things have been happening. Well, for a start, footballers have been allowed to play football again, which means we are guaranteed a rich seam of newly minted disasters. But by no means all the clips you're going to see are from the modern era. Oh, no. There are things on here that the perpetrators must have hoped, prayed, wished had been wiped over long ago. They must have hoped the dust had settled on these blunders. But we've got them. Our research is exhaustive. The journey begins again.
Anderson steaming up outside him on the overlap. McDermott looking for Waddle. With Metcalf there. And he's put it in. That's an own goal.
As the TV cameras follow an irrelevant player, we must look at the crowd. Mr. Bean never got such laughs. Stuart Metcalf's our man. He treats us to a feast of close control.
Through ball for Royal to chase. And is it going to be an own goal? Yes, it is by Mickle.
The first thing to notice here is it's nice to see the photographer did manage to get his mate in. As Joe Sleeves Corrigan lumps the ball upfield, note the spectacular pace and judgment of Gordon McQueen as the ball frightens the life out of him by bouncing. And Alex Stepney becomes the very definition of the phrase despairing lunge.
But a lot of Leeds players have already dropped back. And Charlton comes forward quickly. Can Hamilton get in on this one? Oh, it's obviously going to go. It is!
Now, I don't think this goal is Paul Madeley's fault, actually. This clip comes from the notorious 1973 season, when the FA allowed Ipswich to experiment with the controversial radio-controlled ball. Operated from the bench, it could waggle around goalkeepers and make even the best defences look like pea-brained weasels. As you know, the radio-controlled ball was banned after the radio signals were linked to premature baldness in the Charlton brothers.
And Tommy Craig too. Number 9, McDonald. And it's a goal! And the new boy, Dave Jones, who puts through his own goal in the very last minute.
I hate new boys, don't you? New boys always spend their first few months at a club screwing up shots and scoring at the wrong end. By the time they've got it right, they're the old boys, and the club give them a free transfer to Fulham. Of course, Fulham's old boys end up at your club, where they are the new boys, and we begin again. It's nice to notice at the end of this one the tableau of despair.
Composure in the goal mouth.
That's composure in the goal mouth, everybody.
So often Arsenal look for David O'Leary coming off the near post.
And it's gone in off Paul Hart for his second own goal for Leeds.
He's a new boy. 10 games, 2 own goals. You can imagine the discussion in the pub afterwards, can't you? Oh, that new boy's coming on, isn't he? Yeah, I didn't think it was much cop at first, but you know, 2 goals in 10 games, you can't argue with that. Yeah, I know, but I've heard that Fulham are sniffing round after him.
Cooper coming up. Bremner. Leaving it for Giles. Jones chasing, and an own goal! It's an own goal by David
Sadler. David Sadler heads the ball over Alex Stepney's head. An own goal by poor David Sadler. Trying to head that ball away from Mick Jones. Turned it over the top of Alex Stepney, who'd come out too far.
A good thing to watch out for here is the copper sitting behind the goal. He's supposed to be impartial, of course, but I suspect he's a Leeds fan. Watch, he starts to applaud and then suddenly remembers his position.
Not in. Let's have no undue celebration over poor old David Sadler's own goal, eh? Even if it does mean I've won 60 quid on the police sweep.
It's pathetic sometimes how commentators cover for their colleagues. This is quite clearly a Martin Buchan own goal. But listen to the smokescreen ITV invite us to believe.
Acceleration made something of it, and Steen's header. Now, was that in?
Was that in?
Looked to me as though Stepney pulled it back from over the line, and the referee
Cue
has
Brian Moore's red-faced voiceover.
In fairness, we had to look at this half a dozen times to realise it was an own goal by Martin Buchan and not a goal by Colin Steen. Watch the red number 2 there. The ball goes off his head, Martin Buchan, and beyond Alex Stepney into the back of net. Own goal, Martin Buchan.
Yeah, we knew first time.
Lynch. Craig coming into the near post, so is Edmondson. Oh, it's a goal! An own goal by Willie Gardner. 4 minutes into the second half.
Now, here's a textbook lesson for all you kids hoping to be the next Martin Buchan. If ever you're defending the near post against an awkward chip cross, remember it's essential you head it gently but firmly towards the unprotected part of your goal. This is where your goalkeeper will expect it and will be waiting. This defender's goalkeeper has let him down. Honestly, what are training grounds for?
You know, up until I was about 12, I was a goalkeeper. I think a lot of us were. But it's at 12 that a boy starts to change. Not only physically, but we begin to notice girls and parties and life in the fast lane. And we literally want to play the field. But not all boys. Some boys, even after 12, remain placid and calm and staid and don't mind just waiting in the shadows. Some boys remain goalkeepers. Now, we really shouldn't laugh at them because they didn't develop like the rest of us. We shouldn't laugh at them because we were lucky. We shouldn't laugh at them, but...
So Bobby Moore right in there, adding a little bit of support now to what is a desperate attack for Fulham. Lacey was right in there, and oh, he's punched into his own goal by Stepney!
Terrifically funny motions from Alex Stepney, slapping away at the air like a punch-drunk old boxer woken by a sudden alarm bell. I love the way he just collapses when it's clear all hope is gone. But as usual, the dope of a director cuts to a bunch of players who, though happy to take credit for it, had nothing to do with the action. It is this sad gathering that the world wants to gloat over. Goalkeeping blunders are like world wars. We shouldn't be amazed that they happen. We should be staggered they don't happen more often.
Craig, and a good shot it's in! David Craig scores for a second time in a week.
Although a clanger like this is a little too close to home. Anyone watching this who's ever played in goal over the park knows that these shots come at you in slow motion and a little voice in your head says, go on, drop it, just for a laugh.
And Best once more bursting on that scene and played there nicely by Perrin for Best to Hamilton and Jackson, and it's there! Oh, a mistake by John Jackson, and Best has scored again!
Now, I'm with John Jackson on this one. I don't think it crossed the line either. He gets a hand to it, and remember, the whole ball has to cross the line. I think that John manages to scoop this out while there's still some doubt. In the end, the Russian linesman gave it, and England took a 3-2 lead over Germany. The rest, as they say, is history.
It was the number 5, Dennis Lawton, who very nearly put through his own net.
Wait for it, wait for it.
So it's a corner for Tottenham. Short for Knowles. And hit in by Knowles, and well taken. Well, what an extraordinary goal. What an extraordinary goal. The goalkeeper threw it in his own net.
Yes, thank you, Brian. My mother's in the stand.
His first game in the Football League, 21-year-old Tony Bell first appearance, and he took that ball so well as Noel shot it, took it cleanly, and threw it in his own net.
Yes, thank you, Brian. You know, they talk about bringing bigger crowds in, they outlaw back passes, they alter the offside, but if you really want to bang the drum of populism, you've got to offer the public plenty of this. 15-year-old goalkeepers in fuzzy wigs performing humiliating aerobatics on their debuts. Let's face it, there are a few other ways he could have drawn attention to himself. He could have played a blinder and kept a blank sheet, or lit a Catherine wheel and dropped it in his shorts. We want 10.
Francis. Oh, he missed it completely.
Now, does that go in? If not, Stoke are hardly trying to scramble it clear, are they? Now a goal's been given.
Jim Cannon got up there first of all.
I don't know about you, I didn't notice anyone getting up there. It just seems to me that the goalkeeper's got his Duckham's gloves on. And watch, even when the gormless defender thunders the thing home, he still attempts to, go for it.
Paul Madeley, 36 years old now. He's played better passes than that. Now he has to check to cover John Hollins. And an own goal by John Lukic. John Hollins, who must have thought he'd seen most things in professional football, finds Arsenal going in front with an elementary mistake from poor John Ricks. Here's Sansom, who will keep it in. Hollins joining Sunderland and McDermott in the middle, and it's Hollins! And that was surely over the line, and this time John Hollins will get the credit for sure. The deep cross from Sansom had picked him out. Sunderland let it run for Hollins. The shot was hit well, but it was straight at Lukic, through his legs and just over the line.
Yeah, like John Jackson's was just over the line.
Long ball forward there, McFarlane versus Joe Jordan, and Jordan's got past him. Todd really coming back hard, and still he got it in there to Kenny Dalglish. Could be very interesting. Saved out between his legs a goal. Ray Clements prostrate on the ground. He probably makes one mistake a season like that, and it happens to come at Hampden Park. Dalglish, the scorer. Terrible mistake by Clements. Ray Clements, well, a heartbreaking afternoon for him. Nicely done between the two. Williams. Williams delighted.
In case you missed it at normal speed, the birth of this nightmare can be glimpsed in the most ludicrous little panicky skip that the keeper gives immediately before the shot. He's already tap dancing when... What's that? Yes, deflection, but there's no excuse for effeminate pantomime. I believe he studied at the night classes given by this Icelandic genius. They say there's no such thing as an easy international these days. Well, this bloke puts an end to all that nonsense. Aided and abetted by some of the modern game's most adrift defending. The cross comes in, he gets distance on the punch, there's a muddle, and note the delay before the defender computes where the ball's gone. And he's the type of man who believes the ball has to touch the back of the net for it to count. No goal! Here Ian St John sums it all up in a few well-chosen words. The moral here, of course, you can create a synthetic pitch, but it will always be brought back to earth by real boneheaded players.
Deep toss.